Hello everyone, my name is Sara Idaza and today I am going to explain the brain and its surroundings. This is the volume form, the head and the neck, and in this part I am going to take you to a deep anatomical tour of the brain and the importance to show you the importance of this in our body. So I am going to take you step by step, and as if we were together in a dissection lab to understand not only the shape of the structures, is also the spatial relationships or the functions that are the most important thing that we have to understand. So we are going to explore everything. Call me in the different slides that I am going to show. In this part, we have the introduction. The brain is the main organ in our central nervous system. This is important because it controls almost all the functions that the human body have. So basically, this includes the basic functions or the um, basic things that we do every day. So like breathing, or like the different processes like thinking. I think in the person that I like, or learning. I learn English, and also the emotions that I have. So I'm tired, I'm sad, or I'm in love for someone. So these basic things are the structure or the base of our life. So, to understand how it works, it is essential to first study like the anatomy and the meaning, how it is structured. Then I will relate like the different structures and how it function, and finally I will explain like the different diseases and how it works in our body. So in the next slide, we have the general overview of our brain. In this part, the brain is located inside the cranial cavity. So, in this video that I am going to play right now, that is located in the left part, we in the right part, the brain is located inside the cranial cavity. The cranial cavity is like a little house where is located the cerebrum and the other parts that I am going to show you in the next slides and in the next explications. So it's protected like by the skull, that is the little like a mask, and it has like a soft consistency and a folded surface. And the consistency is like a pillow, like a big pillow that we can like we can hug. So, and also imagine like a cotton candy is like this. So unfolded has a folded surface formed by grooves and ridge that increase it in surface area. But what is grooves and ridge? We can see in the image the grooves are in um, blue color, and the ridge are in red color. The ridge are deeper or are have different structures in the final part like a little circus. So this is the difference between this. In this part, we have the general overview of the brain, but in the anatomical part. So the brain is like divided in three main regions. The brain is the image that is located in this part of the screen, and the first one is the cerebrum. But what is the cerebrum? Are what is the difference between the cerebellum and also the brainstem? So the cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. Yes, and it consists of two hemispheres. That is the left and the right part. that we can see in the image, that is in blue color and pink color, and connected by structures like called the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is like this one. This is the left and right hemisphere, and the corpus callosum is located between this. And what is the function? This allows the communication between the two hemispheres, and also the other first surface is called like the cerebral cortex that protect all the cerebrum. The second part is the cerebellum. The cerebellum is located in the lower and the posterior part of the brain. So it's like the posterior part, and in the lower part. So it also has a highly folded structure. Folded is like this. So we have like a paper, and the folded is like we do this. Wait. Like we do this. Right. Folded is like this, that have a similar appearance of this, but uh, also like a circles. And it's divided into two hemispheres also. And the third one is the brain stem, which connects the brain with the spinal cord, and is composed also of the midbrain, the pons, and also the medulla oblongata. Now we have the cranial cavity, falx, and the tentorium. But what is that? The brain is housed within the cranial cavity. The cranial cavity is like the hole that is in the image in this part of the screen with a red color, and is which is the internal space of the skull. Inside this cavity, the dura mater forms important supporting structures like the falx cerebri, and is like a vertical fold that separates the two cerebral hemispheres. So we have in the part of the we have this above the image, the big image in the centers of the screen. We have the false cerebri. The false cerebri is like the vertical fold, so is like, so we have the corpus callosum, something like that. Yes, yeah, obviously that we can that you that we remember. So this, and in this part, this is the false cerebri. False cerebri is like connect but in vertical, like in a vertical fold. The tentorium cerebri is like the part of in green color that is horizontal fold that separates the cerebrum from the cerebellum, and acting like a roof over the cerebellum. These structures help to stabilize the brain, and they limit excessive movement inside the skull. So, the boomer forms the lower part of the nasal septum, and also the dividing the cavity into passages. And the inferior nasal conchae are the curved bones that increase the surface of this part. So now we have the meninges. The brain is covered like by three protective layers called the meninges. The first layer is the dura mater, which is the outermost and strongest layer, and is thick and attached to the skull. So we have the oh, so we have the skull, and the dura mater is something like this, that like this, protect like this. Ooh. And attach and is attached of the skull like with glue. The second layer is the arachnoid matter, that is the thinner and located between the dura and the pia mater. So this is the dura, this is the skull, and then we have like a little paper between this, that is thinner and located between the dura and the pia. And then we have this space that contains like cerebrospinal fluid, which protects the brain, like acting like a cushion. And the third layer is the pia mater, which is very thin and is very closer, attached to the surface of the brain following all these folds. We can see in the three images in green color the part that is that I'm showing. So the first one in green color is the dura mater. The second one in green color is the arachnoids, and the third one is the cerebrospinal fluid and also the pia mater. So now we have the middle cranial fossa. This is an important part because it's the base of the skull. And this is divided in three regions that are called anterior, middle, and posterior part. In this case, we are going to explain the middle cranial fossa that is in the central region and supports the important parts of the brain. We can see this in purple color, yes, in the image that we have in the center. And especially have especially areas related to the sensory and motor functions, um, like that we can see in the images. And also it is formed by bones such as like the sphenoids, the temporal bones, and also contains like the opening nerves and blood vessels that allows that have this a lot of functions, and that this works because if we don't have nerves and blood vessels, this didn't work for anything. In this part, I am going to show you like a protection review. Yes, like I am going to review everything that I am explained before. Um, the brain have several layers of protection. Yes, three layers face, basically. The first one is the skull, that the skull provides a hard external barrier that is strong, like a stone. The second one is are the meninges surrounds that stabilizes the brain. And the third one is the cerebrospinal fluid that it allows to protect the quotient's brains and helps to maintain the stable uh, environment between the exterior part and the interior part. Now we have the medulla oblongata and fourth ventricle. The medulla oblongata is like the lowest part of the brainstem, and it connects directly like to the spinal cord that we can see in the image. The the arrow with in black color that shows the red part is the medulla oblongata. And we have the spinal cord that is the most important thing because it allows to maintain the different connections with the nerves and also the different neurons that we have in all our body. It contains centers that control the vital automatic actions and functions such as like the breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure that we can see in every day when we are a doctor or in every profession. We have to have this present because it's an important part of our health. Near this structure is the fourth ventricle. Is like that have that is in a blue color, like light blue color, and like it seems like a fish. I see like a fish. So it's like a cavity filled with cerebrospinal spinal fluid that helps to circulate this fluid through the brain and to maintain the different structures with the different functions, because it allows to not to don't broke with the different movements that we do. The midbrain and cerebral peduncles. The midbrain is like the upper part of the brainstem, and it contains structures involved in the visual and auditory reflexes that we can see in the images. The red part also is the midbrain part. The cerebral peduncles are the parts that the little girl like shows with the finger. So the cerebral peduncles are bundles of nerve fibers that connect the cerebrum with the brainstem and the spinal cord, and also they play an essential role in the transmitting motor signals from the brain and to the body, like the most important things like connect different colors or drawing or paint different things. These are different activities, essential activities of every day. And then we have the cerebellum. The cerebellum is located in the posterior cranial fossa. It's in this part, but in the cranial part. It has an outer cortex and an inner structure that resembles like a tree, often called like the arbor vitae, because it looks like a tree or like a broccoli. Its main function is like coordinate the different voluntary movements, ensuring they are smooth and precise, and it also helps to maintain the balance and the posture of every day. Now, in this part, we can see the most important part of of the brain, that is the cerebrum. It's the largest and the most complex part of the brain, because it has other layers that this the cerebral cortex that is divided into lobes. But what are the lobes? The frontal lobe that we can see in orange color, the parietal lobe that is in a blue color, the temporal lobe that is in red color, and also the occipital lobe that is in green color. But it's what is the function of every lobe. The frontal is thinking and movement. The parietal is sensation. The temporal is hearing and memory, and the occipital is the vision. So we have the basic things that we need to do everything every day, so we can see that this is the base of our life, because we without this we can live or we can do everything, like talk in the video or take a class or something, basically like eat or sleep. So inside, there are little nuclei and nerve pathways that allow communicate between the different areas in our body and in the cerebral part. The brain have a lateral and anterior ventricle, and this contains like a system of cavities called ventricles. The lateral ventricles are located in each cerebral hemisphere, that is like a little C that we can see in green color in the first image, like a little C. The third ventricle is located in the center of the brain. Like is I see this like a head of a fish with an eye. I recognize like this. And these ventricles are connected and filled with cerebrospinal fluid, which circulates continuously and allows to continue the different actions. And in like summarize, or like giving you like a general review. All these structures work together like in an integrated way. The cerebrum processes the information. The cerebellum coordinates the different movements, but the brainstem controls the vital functions and the protective part of the structure ensures safety. So, in the next part, we have the disease that is the meningitis. We have that this is an important disease related to the structure of the different important structures are the meningitis. The meningitis is like an inflammation of the meninges that we call and that I explained before, and it can be caused by bacteria, viruses, and fungi structures or pathogens. The main symptoms are include like the high fever, severe headache, and neck stiffness, and also like an sensitivity of the light. So, it limitates the different actions and also the work that you do every day. So it is considered like a serious condition that requires immediately medical attention because it can scale to a difficult part or a different difficult treatment. So the treatment depends of the cause and also the state that you have, and may include like basic antibiotics, antiviral medication, and also an hospitalization in the worst cases. And in conclusion, we can say that the brain is like the highly complex essential organ. But why? This is an anatomy is closely related to the function and is protected by multiple structures that work together. So understanding this system help us to appreciate the importance and recognize how different diseases affect our body and also all the different functions that we have. So thank you for see and take care of you.